So I went to go see One Piece Film Reddit, and I didn't have any expectations. I didn't even know what I was expecting going into the movie. I went to go see it with my girlfriend, and it was a very interesting movie. And I can see how people are having mixed reviews about the film because it's definitely going to be bad if you go into it with the wrong mindset. I don't want to say bad, but it's gonna be disappointing for you if you go into it with the wrong mindset. This review will have spoilers. Okay, number one. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, I would definitely go watch the movie because it's worth the watch. Don't think what I just said it means it's not worth the watch. Any One Piece movie, first off, is probably worth the watch if it's in theaters. Okay, so let's not get that shit twisted. But no, definitely go watch it and then come back to the video. And I'll just say subscribe. Subscribe to the channel first and then go watch it. And I'm just gonna start off with, obviously, if you've seen the movie, you know this is not a Shanks movie, okay? Now, granted, I thought he was in the movie more than I anticipated him to be in the movie. Like, when I heard people saying, yeah, he's not in the movie, I thought dude was gonna come in, slash, and then walk away, and then not even say one word. So I'm glad we even got some dialogue. I'm glad we got some dialogue from him, and it was very minuscule, too. There's some times where I was looking at him, I was like, say something. Like, are you mute? What is your problem? But no, I definitely got more Shanks than I anticipated personally, so I am satisfied with that. You know what I mean? This movie off the bat, colorful spectacle. This shit looked like a kindergartner's painting, and he just went crazy with every single color. If you go into this movie wanting to see one specific color, don't worry, you will see it. Every single color I could personally think of, I think I saw in this movie. So that's a plus. You know, we got a variety of colors, but animation wise, I don't know if it's wrong of me to say I'm disappointed, and I'm not trying to hate, okay? So don't get mad, don't go in the comments, don't go crazy. I swear, I'm not hating. But if you're caught up with the One Piece show, looking at what we have now, right? There have been some scenes that have been absolutely maniacal. Like, I don't even, like that really thin lining animation where their like skin is kind of like folding into itself, and it just, you know, that, I don't know, to me that's like some crazy ass animation for One Piece, because we don't usually get that, you know? I'm not saying the animation in this movie was bad by any means. I just feel like for the last fight, no, I mean, maybe I'm just talking shit. I'm thinking about it now, and I'm thinking of like when they went back from one of the flashbacks to like Shanks's face, and that shit was hard. And then we saw Luffy and oh my gosh. No, the animation was good. The animation was definitely good. I think I'm just being very picky about like what I wanted. Like the last good episodes of the Wano fights and whatever, they've been having a specific type of animation that wasn't in this specific film. I think I'm just being picky about that because I really like that type of animation. But the animation in this movie was not bad by any means, you know? So I would say the animation was a plus as well. But I would say the highlight of this movie, and I feel like it is for everyone, that soundtrack was euphoric. Oh my goodness, that lady's, I'm gonna look up her name because I'm not gonna call her that lady. I'm gonna address her by her proper stage name because I'm not gonna call her Uta either. Otto's vocal range is nutty. Like, that was some of the best music I have heard in a animated film. You know, they have some fucking slappers. Jujutsu Kaisen, their opening song for the movie, banger. Demon Slayer, I'm sure they had some good music, but I added damn near every song from this movie into the Spotify. Top Musica? Put me in the gym with that song. I'll be at bodybuilding competitions within a week. That song is so good, and just all the songs in the movie, because it's like they don't all sound the same because her vocal range is just so ridiculous, and she could like make so many different types of sounds and notes and all that. Oh my gosh. I don't know what the award is for music. Is that a Grammy? I think it is a Grammy. I think it is give her 17 of them. Oh my gosh, man. I was disgusted by how many times I had goosebumps just because of her fucking singing in that movie. Major takeaway from this film is that soundtrack. And now I saw people saying that they were upset about the amount of music in this movie. And I automatically see people who don't feel the same as them just off the bat attacking them. And I agree with what they're saying, though, to an extent, right? I agree that the music content in this movie was definitely a lot. And I don't think they're upset by the amount of music that was in this film. More so, I think they're upset with how the music was integrated into this film. You know what I mean? Like, I went into this movie not expecting much, but I did expect singing, right? I did expect singing because I understand that this girl is like a singer and this and that. So I expected at least 4 Hot 100 hits coming out of this film, okay? So I wasn't really thrown off by that. I was thrown off by the fact that there was just some moments where Luffy was like, yo, Uta, you want to go get chicken? And then she was like, yeah, let me just sing first. Like, obviously it didn't happen like that, but sometimes it felt random in that manner. You know what I mean? there were some moments where she just I felt like she was singing just to sing. And I get it, she likes it, right? And I'm not a singer myself. So correct me if I'm wrong, but if there's a singer watching this video, do you just sing? Like, is that part of your day-to-day life? Like, before you head to the bathroom or something, you have to make a song about it or just harmonize to yourself? I'm not even hating, I promise. I just thought that part of the movie was funny. It just felt random. Not all the songs. It was just more so when they integrated it into the dialogue out of nowhere. That's sort of what got me annoyed at some point and felt like stopped the momentum of the film sometimes. But it wasn't so excessive to where it was unbearable. You know, it was just a couple times. So I could see why people would think that there's too much music, but I think the music contents are great in itself. And going to the characters in the movie, I mean, everyone did their thing, honestly, and like there were some characters who outshined others just because there were so many different characters in this movie. You couldn't really focus on everyone. You know, people were upset like Brooke didn't get enough shine. When Brooke got his 17 seconds of screen time, he used every second like it was his last, because it probably was. Like Nami, I don't even think she was in this movie. I don't know where she was. I think Zeus had more screen time than her. I don't know where Nami was. I understand it because they had world government members and like Trafalgar Law here and like all these different other people, and then obviously Shanks pulled up later with the crew, so I get it, right? I get it. The characters, I feel like, were utilized to the best that they could have been in this movie with the amount of time that they had. Now, granted, do I think the movie should have been a bit shorter? I personally do. And I feel like that's just because the amount of flashbacks that they kept putting in kind of did the same thing as some of those songs where it slowed the momentum of the movie. And the movie was almost 2 hours. I feel like the movie could have been like an hour and 30. Like, there were some times where I thought it was done or we were about to get that final sequence. It would be a flashback, then more dialogue, then a flashback again, then we would get some action. And it's not, again, it's not anything that's horrid, but it's something that I would have preferred different. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say this shit was ass, because it really wasn't. This was a great movie altogether, because I feel like the story was honestly a solid one as well. I didn't know who's gonna be the villain going into this movie. Obviously, Yuta starts getting a little diabolical a bit into the film, and I'm like, okay, what's up with this chick? I wasn't necessarily surprised, but I just wasn't expecting it. You know, I don't know what I expected, but I just didn't expect that, since in the trailer she was like obviously friends with Luffy and stuff, and it seemed like a very positive relationship. And then we learn about her backstory. It's a very linear thing for the most part. You know, you don't know where it's going the whole time, but when they start explaining stuff, you're like, oh, okay, this is probably how this is gonna end up. It wasn't super deep. It was more so just an enjoyable time with good music, and then just character progression, Yuta falling into a deeper, darker hole, getting this Tote Musica thing, and her eventually unleashing that to the world. But seeing Gear 5 Luffy and Shanks, man, oh my. I mean, I almost went to the hospital for trauma, I think. Mental trauma. I don't know. There was a lot of emotions going through me. And I think I saw a picture of what is canon about Shanks in this movie. Where's he getting this fire on his sword? Why does he have a flame sword? I don't know. And I think he's popping up in the manga right now for people. I'm not a manga reader, so please don't spoil it for me. I'd rather just watch it with my very own 2 eyes. But why is Shanks running around with fire on his sword? Is he just that cold with haki that he's generating heat like that? Is that what he's doing? Because if so, he's a madman and he needs to be stopped by someone. And then seeing Gear 5 Luffy for that brief second and a half almost had me fainting. I'm not even gonna lie. And we were at a movie theater with about 5 people. I don't know why it was so vacant, but it was me, my girlfriend, one other girl in the theater, and then like another couple. I was really gonna let out some I was feeling that in my I had that outburst, I had that urge, that intrusive thought, but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna save it for when I see it in the show. Like, I was excited, and seeing Shanks, oh my gosh, they were about to jump Shanks and the crew. The world government pulled up Kizaru, all of them, they were about to jump him. Shanks looked at them. I've seen Conqueror's haki. I've never seen some shit like this. I don't know what he was doing, but I was bricked. Oh my goodness. I was definitely wrecked. I left that movie after that scene. I was like, oh my gosh, this show is gonna be so good. It's not even funny. Like, we've seen a lot of great One Piece, but the amount of great One Piece that we are gonna see in the future is just bonkers. I literally cannot comprehend how good the show is going to get when dudes like Shanks are pulling up to the world government or whatever he's involved with and just looking at them. He's just looking at them, and that's literally episode of the year. If whatever episode Shanks pulls up and looks at people and just gives them his aura, episode of the year. Like that, it's just the amount of buildup they've had on this man to show how intimidating he is. You never really know how strong this man is, and he's one-shotting dudes. We saw that he one-shot the Demon King back in the day without Luffy's help. I don't know how he is this strong, and it's something that we will obviously learn in the future. If he's doing this shit straight hockey, bodying everyone in this goddamn world just off of straight hockey being the best at it. I mean, I have nothing else to say to him. You're my king of the pirates at that point until Luffy overtakes you. But yeah, no, that last sequence, I do feel like it was a little drawn out. You know, I loved it, don't get me wrong. I just didn't really enjoy the flashbacks in between a lot of the fighting. Like, if they just pushed this shit straight through, added a little bit of dialogue, maybe one flashback, and paced it a little bit better, I would have, oh my gosh, I would have been on the ground in a ball, rocking back and forth. But I do feel like the momentum shifted a lot in a negative aspect just because there were flashbacks. Similar kind of to the songs that I was talking about in the middle of the movie. It's sort of, the momentum kind of stopped a lot of the time for the fights because the flashbacks, like, you could have brief flashbacks. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how in an Ultimate Ninja Storm game, you're about to finish them off with your ultimate and then you'll have that like dialogue piece, then it'll go back to the clash. That doesn't necessarily stop the momentum. It kind of hypes it up sometimes, honestly. But they would have like at least 30 seconds of a flashback sometimes, and I would be like, oh, okay, then we go back to the fight, and that's the part that I felt was a negative. But the actual fight itself, goddamn beautiful. Animation, everything, oh my goodness. I mean, that was great. If I were to give this movie overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I think I would have to give this movie like between a 7.8 and like an 8 out of 10. Somewhere around there. There were some aspects that I didn't necessarily enjoy. You know, I felt like the movie could have been shorter, personally. They didn't get to the point a lot of the time for me. And I do love the singing, but I can see where people get upset with it. And I do feel like it kind of pops up at random points, which can end up being annoying if done a bit too much. And again, I'm not opposed to the singing. Sometimes I just felt like it could have been integrated more smooth. I thought the action, when it was there, it was great. It was beautiful, great animation. And yeah, I mean, I think that's really it. You know, the story was good. It was a very linear, somewhat story, and it was just enjoyable. It was a fun time. I do think movies like Mugen Train and Jujutsu Kaisen Zero hit me a bit harder. Like, I think they were just better movies, but I think that's only because they were canon. Like, if they gave us a canon One Piece film about some shit, it would probably be on that tier or better. This was just a filler movie. So, you know, when you're watching a movie that doesn't pertain to the story completely, you can't take it as seriously as you want to. It was a great film. I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. I would definitely recommend go seeing it. I don't know why you would watch this video if you haven't seen it though, because I spoiled everything. But with that being said, road to 10K. I'm like, what? I think at this point I'm like 400 subs away, so I would appreciate if y'all would subscribe to the channel and hopefully hit that 10K before the end of the year. And yeah, on to the next one.